Alright guys, so if you've been following my video here on this car, you saw me a few days ago. I wanted to see what I could do with this paint job, right? And I used this ultra cut compound from Meguiar's, $40 bottle of it, and I said it was going to last for 10 cars. Well, it lasted for one. I used the whole bottle on this car because the paint's so bad. So that's gone. And then I followed up with the ultra finishing compound, which has less cutting ability, but gives you a better shine. And I used, it's probably a little less than half, so I used a little more than half of that. So I still got some of that left I can use on something else. So I got to buy some more of the ultra cut if I'm going to use on other vehicles, which I obviously will eventually. So today we are at the stage where we want to, so this right here is what the hood looks like, and you guys saw how dull it was. This is what it looks like after I used the ultra cut and then the fine cut polishing compound. But polishing compound does not have nutrients that paint needs. It needs particular types of oils and other nutrients to make it shine and to keep it shining. And red, I've said it before, red is the worst color for oxidation, and unfortunately this car sat outside for a while. I'm guessing probably at least between 10 and 20 years it sat outside, and you could tell the sun was beating down on it because the hood and the trunk and the tops of the doors and the fenders there were really faded out, but the sides of the car still had some shine to them. So I've used the ultra cut compound and well, actually I didn't use the ultra cut compound on the sides here. I used it on the hood, the trunk, and the area there on top of the fenders and doors. But I used the finer cut compound on the sides here. But again, there's not really stuff in there to make the paint shine. So now I want to see what I can get this paint job to do by putting the proper polish on it, or wax. So I've got this, again, well this is Mother's. I've got this stuff here, Brazilian Carnauba cleaner wax, so it cleans as well as waxing. So I'm going to take this, and actually I did some of this car last night because it's a big car and I know you guys don't want to watch me do the whole thing. So I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to put it on the hood and this passenger side of the car, and I want to show you guys what it looks like after I apply this, because it's a very big transformation. I'm very surprised, but when I'm done with this car, it's going to look amazing. I love the patina on this car. Unfortunately, it's got a little bit of rust on the driver's side, which sucks, because if the driver's side looked like the passenger side and there was no rust on it, this would be the perfect patina car. But if someone wants to buy it, and it is for sale, so if you're interested, let me know. But if someone buys it and they want to, fix a little bit of rust on the other side and then have a body shop, paint it to match this kind of patina look, it would be the perfect patina car for that. So let's put some of this on the hood. Yeah, you guys are in a good position to see what I'm doing here. Let's put some of this on the hood and see what happens. All right, let's go. I got just a regular old bath towel, regular old terry cloth, washcloth. It's soaked with wax with this stuff, because like I said, last night I did the driver's side. I'm not going to show you what it looks like. I was amazed. And I did half of the hood. You can kind of see where I did this half compared to this half, but it's not as shiny as I want it to be. So I'm going to put more of this wax on the hood. So I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing again, and I'll work my way across, and we'll go down the side and we'll see what it looks like. You always want to remember to shake this stuff up really good, because it gets separated in the bottle. You want to shake it up. And this has got Carnauba oil in it, which is really good for paint jobs. It absorbs into the paint and brings out the shine in the paint, and it protects the paint too from damage from the sun, which of course this one here is a little late for that, but like I said, it's not terrible. I've seen a lot worse from cars sitting outside. This thing is, I wish the top of the car looked like the sides of the car, but it doesn't, so that's okay. We're going to do what we can with it. We're going to start out, we're just going to rub this stuff in. Basically, you just I'm kind of holding my rag like that, and I'm grabbing this stuff as I go, putting it into the rag, into the towel, and I'm just rubbing in circular motion, wax on, wax off type thing. So I want to do this hood again because I'm not super satisfied with it. I don't know if it's going to get any better, but we're going to try to make it better. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see. Get this cowl, it needs a little bit more too. And basically you just keep rubbing this in until it dries to the point where you're ready to wipe it off. It's going to, all this carnauba wax, I said oil before, carnauba wax, is going to start to soak into the paint. The paint's going to start absorbing it. And one thing I noticed here when I did this yesterday is it really did not take long at all for this stuff to really start soaking in and drying out, because this paint is so dry from sitting in the sun for so many years. And after using my buffer on this and the compound that I use, the ultra cut compound, I'm convinced that this is definitely lacquer paint, because I haven't removed a whole lot of it. So it's very, very hard paint. But unfortunately, lacquer tends to crack over the years too, so it doesn't look beautiful, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I think this is a really awesome patina car. You know, if when someone wants to buy it from me and I sell it, you know, this would be a really good candidate to fix the little bit of rust that's on the driver's side and then clear coat the whole car. And I got something, I'm going to make another video and I'm going to show you guys something that I bought for this car that I think might be a cool addition to it. And I want you guys' opinion as far as what you think, whether I should add that piece to the car or whether I should not add it. Okay, so we've got that, that's soaked in. It's getting hard to buff it or hard to apply it, so it's drying out. So now we're going to take our towel and we're just going to wipe it off, clean it off as best we can. I've had people, been taking this car to car shows. I haven't taken it anywhere since I've done this, because I've only done this in the last couple of days. But I've had people ask me all the time, is this a factory 440 Coronet? Is it numbers matching? I don't know yet. I'm going to find out. I've asked people ask me if it was like a factory ordered race car. I don't know that either. I don't know how to find out. But if you Mopar gurus are watching this video and you know anything about 67 Coronets, if there was ever any made that were factory drag cars that had a 440 in them. Uh-oh. Hold on, my phone's ringing. Hold on. Alright guys, I'm back. That was actually a call about this car. Some stuff I want to have done to it. Getting some pricing. And yeah, it wasn't what I wanted to hear. It's amazing to me how much more expensive it is to have stuff done today than it was about 4 years ago when a certain person took office. So it really sucks. Alright, so I put one coat on there. I put a couple coats on there last night too, but I'm trying to get a better shine out of this hood. I don't know if I'm going to or not, but I'm going to try. Just put a little bit more on there. See what happens. Just trying to get this wax to really soak into this paint and bring the shine out in it, which is very difficult to do on paint that's, I bet this paint's probably, I don't know, at least 30 years old. Maybe more, I don't know, it's old. They haven't used lacquer for a long time. I mean, I guess this could be urethane, but I don't think so because of the way it's cracking. And as thick as it is on here, I'm pretty sure it's lacquer. And of course, the bad part is if this is lacquer and you want to paint this car, you got to strip it all the way down to the bare metal, because you cannot paint. You can paint lacquer over enamel, but you can't paint enamel over lacquer. So it would have to be stripped down to the bare metal. Which, of course, if the car was, if someone wanted to buy it and do a full restoration on it, I mean, this car is an excellent, excellent candidate for that because it's in such good shape. I'm amazed by how nice it is. And one of these days I'll get it up in the air and I'll show you guys what it looks like underneath. You'll be surprised at how nice it is. The more I do this, the more it should get a shine on it, I hope. Anyhow. All right. I think what I'm going to do too, since I'm working on this anyhow, I'll put another coat on this fender too. It's got, for some reason, the fender's got a better shine than the hood does. I don't know why, but it does. Of course, there isn't a whole lot of the fender that can shine because it's in really rough condition, but it could get some shine to it. And I'm glad for that, because trying to make this car look good for somebody's interested in buying it down the road, then my plan is to try to get, if not all the parts I have for it installed on it, but at least the majority of them. So if someone buys it, they can just drive it and enjoy it, right? I got to do a little work on the engine, which isn't much, but I want to pull the oil pan out of it because I want to see what that noise was. I've been driving it and, I kind of took a chance with that, but I drove it when I was in New York with Carmen and never had any problem. Is it Carmen? Yeah. I keep forgetting his name. I think it's Carmen. Sorry if I got it wrong, Carmen. All right. We rub that in again. Let it soak, dry out. I think I'm going to go the other way with it now. Instead of going that way, I'm going to go this way. Try to get it really soaked in there good. When I get to the sides of the car, it won't be nearly as hard because it's basically one coat and done, because it's the sides of the car in good shape. I'm picking up a little bit of red. You can see a little bit of red on there. Not a lot, but a little bit. So, all right, this is the last coat I'm going to do here on this side. It's really unfortunate that this car sat outside as long as it did, because if it had been at least in a barn or something, a shed, some sort of building that was covering it up, I think the paint job would still be really phenomenal, because lacquer paint tends to stay nice for a long time. But when it sits out in the elements, it starts cracking like this is doing. So that's how I can determine that this car probably sat outside for way too many years, unfortunately, in the weather, which is really sad because it's a cool car, but it is what it is, right? Can't undo what's been done. All right, so I'll get you guys over here where you can kind of see the difference between the two halves of the hood as far as the shine goes. There is more shine over here. It's not a lot, but you know, the hood and the trunk on this car are in really rough shape. I'm amazed it's got even any shine at all, that as much as it does. All right, let's take a look at it. You can definitely clearly see the difference. See, I mean, even in the picture, even in the camera here, you can see the difference between that side and that side. It's quite a bit of difference. So I tell you what, I'll just leave you guys right here, and I'll do the other half, and you can watch me do the other half. All right, so yeah, that gave it some nice shine. I mean, if you guys remember what this hood looked like when I started, to get that kind of shine out of a paint job like this is amazing. But it's been a lot of work too. I've probably spent, so far, I probably spent a good 6 hours on this paint job, buffing it with the ultra cut, and then buffing it again with the fine cut, and now I'm waxing it. So yeah, it's definitely not an easy thing to do. It's very time consuming. But I had a feeling I could probably get some shine out of this thing if I just took the time to do what I've done with it. And I'm not disappointed at all. Matter of fact, I'm kind of amazed that as bad as this thing looked, that it's looking as good as it is now. I'm very happy with it. You know, again, I wish this car had not sat in the elements, because if the paint wasn't as rough as it is, but it didn't have all the chips and nicks and scratches and that stuff in it, I think it would look astounding doing this to it. But I think it still looks great, just not as good as it could. It's okay. You got to give it the love when you can, right? Do the best you can, and you know, considering this car's history, you know, spent a lot of its life on the drag strip, and the paint job that's on it it wasn't originally red. It was like a kind of a tan color, I believe, and they just painted over the top of the old paint. So there's places where you can see it's peeling off, and you can see the old paint underneath. So it isn't like a super high quality paint job, I can tell you that. It's probably a weekend, maybe in your garage type thing, because the guy wanted to turn it into a drag car, and he wanted to clean it up, make it look nice before he did. So he did some work on it, and then he painted it, maybe painted it himself, I don't know. But maybe he owned a body shop, I don't know, I have no idea. Don't know the guy. Unfortunately, he passed away, and his family apparently had no information about the car. His surviving family. I don't know. If any of them were older people that knew him when he was racing this thing, I don't know, maybe not. Just it seemed like nobody knew anything about the car. I got one picture of him given to me by Carmen, and that's all I have. So, all right, that's coat number one. This half isn't as nice as that half, but it's getting a little bit of shine to it. I'm sweating. I guess I could turn on my air conditioner, cool myself down a little bit, but sometimes sweating is good, so I guess I'll just keep on sweating. Been trying to get a little healthier anyhow, trying to lose a little bit of weight, going to the gym, getting stronger, so I guess this is good for me to sit out here in my shop and sweat, all right? All right. I noticed that this hood line right here looked kind of bad when I was putting that wax or taking that wax off, so I'll get a little extra down there. I was really planning on working on some different cars this year, but then this thing came along and it's should be a fairly easy sell, I hope. So I figured I better get on it and get it done. And I'll have to work on my other stuff later, I guess. We'll see. All right. Stuff's really soaking into this paint job. You can tell it's just really dry. Hasn't had anything like this on it for years and years and years. And it wouldn't surprise me, even when the guy was racing it, he probably never waxed it. He probably washed it once in a while, but he probably didn't care if it was shiny or, you know, waxed up. He just wanted it to be clean so that when he raced it, it looked halfway decent. Pretty typical. So this might be the first time it's ever been waxed in its entire life. I don't know. All right, I'll go this way now, kind of rub it in a different direction, see if that helps. Okay. All right, let's wipe that one off, see what it looks like. Coat number 2. Getting a little more shine to it now. This is what's taking the longest, is this hood, the hood and the trunk, and that's why I did what I did last night, so I could kind of get a head start on it, because I knew it was going to take a while. I figured it'd probably take several coats to get it looking good. Okay. Still not shining as much as the other side is. So, the front up here looks pretty good, but out in here it's looking still kind of dull. But that's all right. We got plenty of wax, plenty of this stuff. We'll do another coat, see what happens. Okay. Just keep rubbing it in, letting it soak in, polishing it out. It'll get there eventually. I can understand why people tend to not want to wax cars like this, because this thing's so big. This car is so big. It's just very labor intensive and time consuming to do this. Of course, if the paint was good, I wouldn't have to do this 3 or 4 times. I'd only do it once and it would look great, but I wouldn't have to do all that buffing I did on it the other day either. But it's okay. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy taking these cold cars and making them look beautiful again. Do the work on them. Pass them on to somebody else who can enjoy them and love them. And they don't have to do the work. I've done it for them. So that's the whole point here. Plus I want to make it look good. Alright, I can go this way with it. Instead of going in a circle, I'm just going to go in a straight line. Just trying to go different directions to get this wax to really soak into that paint. And I'll go back this way again. We did before. Oh my gosh. Okay. We getting anywhere yet? What do you guys think? Wow. That's looking pretty even all the way across. Three coats of wax. All right. Let's look at it from your perspective. It's looking pretty much the same all the way across, isn't it? I don't know that I'm going to get it a whole lot better than this. And you guys are probably tired of watching me wax the same thing over and over again. So let's do this fender and then the cowl, and then we'll move on to the sides of the car, which I think you'll be amazed when you see what happens to the sides of the car. I was amazed when I saw it on the driver's side. So let's get these 2 little pieces done. I have to do a couple coats on them because they're pretty dry and bad looking, just like the hood was. We'll hit them up here and see what happens. Okay. This surface is definitely slippery now, see that? You can tell it's been waxed. See, I did one coat on the fenders and they already look better. The fender and the cowl. It's really weird how when you're doing this stuff to a car, you know, the hood has got the heat from the engine coming up against it all the time. So it's, especially in the summertime, it's got the sun beating down on it, it's got the heat from the engine coming up underneath of it. So the paint on it looks different than the paint on the fender, because the fender doesn't have that. The fender doesn't have any of the engine heat on it. The cowl doesn't either. And it just amazes me how much of a difference it makes to how the paint looks after, you know, years of being on there, and how easy it is to bring it back, and the difference between the hood and of course the trunk lid doesn't have engine heat on it either. So the trunk lid, I did it last night. I think I did 2, maybe 3 coats on it, and it turned out real nice. But you know, this hood is definitely the most difficult part to get shine out of, because it's had all these heat and cool cycles all those years it was being driven. And of course, if it was being drag raced, you know, probably had some pretty high under the hood temperatures on it. And it's just amazing to me that how easy it is to get other parts of the car to shine, and the hood is really the hardest part. That's probably why I've had to put more coats of wax on it than anything else, to get some shine out of it, because it's had all those heat and cool cycles on it. All right, so I think 2 coats on this is going to make it look really good. I think I'm going to need to put the 3rd coat on it. I'll probably put a 4th coat on the hood later on after I'm done with this video. Just try to get more shine out of it. But I've got time, I don't mind. And as you can see, all right. See, I can see, I'll show you guys where the light shines on the hood and the fender. It's kind of hard for you to see, but the fender actually has more shine than the hood does. And again, that's because the fender doesn't have the heat and cool cycles that the hood does. The hood, the paint on the hood on a car is the hardest. It takes the most punishment, let's put it that way. All right, now I want to do this fender. Show you guys what that stuff does. I mean, you can see, I don't know if there's a good angle to get to. Let's see if we can find a good angle. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? You want me to set you right there? Let's try that and see what it looks like when we're done. See if you can see the shine that comes on that fender. All right, I'm going to take a little break here. I'm going to get a drink. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back here. When you're on the sides of the car, when you're on the hood, obviously you can just put this stuff on there, but on the sides of the car, the rag is already saturated with wax, so I'm just going to put some on the rag, like so, and just start rubbing it in. And this stuff is good, high quality. It's got that carnauba wax in it, so it's really going to bring the shine out in this paint job. And like I said, the sides of the car didn't have the exposure that the top of the car did, so it's Should be quite a bit of difference between the polishing compound and this wax when I wipe this wax off. I'm going to go ahead and get this down here too because I got plenty of wax on the rag. I'll wipe it on down there. Get right in there between the bumper and the trim piece. Yeah. No problemo. I'll do half the fender, then I'll do the other half. I'm only going to do one coat, so I really want to rub this in good and let it kind of soak in there. Get soaked into that paint with all that wax and all those nutrients. I'll bring out the shine in it. You betcha. Okay. All right, let's buff it off, see how it looks. Oops, sorry, bear dog. Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see a difference. Definitely see a difference in the way this car looks. Let's see what you guys' perspective shows you when I'm done here. Okay, see if you can see a difference between the front half and the you can't. Trying to show it to you. I think you can see it from that angle. You can see there's a lot more shine here than there is in the back. So I'll put you like this and I'll do the back of the fender, then you'll be able to see the difference between the fender and the door. You'll definitely be able to see that, so let's do that. You can tell this paint job wasn't top quality from all the chips in it. Paint's flaking off, you know. But then again, the car wasn't, after it was parked, it wasn't cared for either, so that didn't help the paint job any, that's for sure. You leave the car sitting out in the elements and the moisture tends to get, you know, you get cracks in the paint, and moisture will get in those cracks and start lifting the paint just like that. And before you know it, you got chunks of paint popping off the body of the car because you get moisture in there. So again, that's the result of not caring for the car after it was parked, which is really too bad because it's a cool car. Alright. Now let's see the difference between the fender and the door. We should be able to notice a big difference there, I think, anyhow. I'm glad I did half of this last night because, my gosh, to do this whole car would be. I think I got this down here. I don't remember if I did or not, so I'm going to rub it real quick. I might have missed it. I was so focused on the top part of the fender. All right, let's see what she looks like. A piece of chunk of paint just fell off on the floor. No surprise. Wow. Yeah, you guys can see that, right? Get the bottom half out here. Okay. Hey, what do you guys think of that? You can see, oh man, yeah. Look at how much more rich the red is here than the door. Yeah, it's definitely a richer, deeper red. Took all that, you can see the hazing on the paint from the sun, the oxidation, and I'm not sure if all that's going to come out. This passenger door on this side, out of all the panels on the side, this passenger door is the worst one of all of them for some reason. I don't know if it was exposed to more weather or what the deal was, but it may have had the sun shining on it part of the day, and the other parts of the car did not. But let's put some wax on and see what it does. Right? All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the top of this door because it was, I had to do it with the ultra cut compound. I did it I think 2 or 3 times because this was the worst one, and then with the fine cut I did it 2 or 3 times more, and it's still not very shiny. Well, let's see what this wax does to it. Maybe it'll bring it out a little bit, hopefully. Then we compare the top of the door to the side of the door. It may take a couple of coats on this to get it to shine. I don't know. We'll see. But you can definitely see this is labor-intensive work. It's not simple. It's not easy. It takes time, you know. But it sure makes a difference in the way a car looks if you're willing to take the time to do it. That's for sure. I'm trying to get this just really, really soaked into there, pushed into that paint so it kind of absorbs those nutrients. It's kind of hard to go in a circle on this because it's such a small area. Just really trying to push it down into that paint. Get the paint to absorb it so it brings out its natural shine when I buff it. All right. Let's buff it off and see how it looks. And it's possible that I may not get hardly any shine out of it at all. I don't know. You know, it may just be too far gone. This paint's really, really cracked bad on this top of this door. Got a little bit of shine to it. Not as much as I'd like it to have. Let's do it again. My gosh, this is turning out to be a lot more labor intensive than I thought. Have to keep applying more coats of wax to try to get the shine to come out. It's definitely working me. Burning calories though, right? Whew. Hot and sweaty. And I always use the same side of the rag when I do this because it's saturated with wax now, so if I use the same side, it just saturates it more. All right, that's 2 coats. Let's see what happens after 2 coats. I don't know if we're going to get much of a shine out of it. I might be disappointed in this part of the car. But I've done everything I can do to get it to shine. For some reason, this door just, it's got a lot of oxidation on it. I'm getting some shine out of it. All right. Whew. Okay, let's see what you guys see. Yeah, you can see there's some shine in that door at the top. It's not bad. I'm happy with it. I wish it were a little more, but you know, it is what it is. All right. Let's continue on this door. It's pretty rough. I may have to put 2 coats on the whole entire door because for some reason this door is just more faded out than the rest of the sides of the car. So, but we'll keep putting wax on it, see what happens. If we can get some shine out of it, hopefully we can. You notice I'm just doing a small section at a time. Just keep continually rubbing it in over and over again. Let it soak in there really well. Now I'll rub a little more on the top here too, since I'm right there anyhow. It ain't gonna hurt anything. Just take whatever's on the rag and wipe it in there. All right. Let's buff this out, see what we got. I got right here, it's dull. Still dull. So I guess we're going to give it another coat, see what happens. Okay. I'm really going to try to focus on this area right here. I don't know if I can get that cloudiness out of the paint or not. I may not be able to, because it's really embedded in there. I got something else I can use that might take some of it off. I don't know. It's going to dull the paint if I use it. It's called rubbing compound. If you guys ever heard of rubbing compound, it's even more coarse than the Ultra Cut that I was using. But it's so coarse that it actually dulls the paint, and you have to come back with polishing compound and polish behind it. So, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm already sweating my butt off just trying to get this done. I can still see that dullness in there, even with the wax still in there, so it's probably not going to come out. But it still looks better than it did, right? I think so, anyhow. And I'll rub a little more on here. What the heck? Ain't gonna hurt anything. All right. Boy, oh boy, this is Definitely not easy work to get this shine to come out of this paint after it's been sitting for so long and not being taken care of. It's definitely not easy. Rubbing compound will cut the paint, so I have to be careful because I could rub it all the way down to bare metal if I'm not careful. But since this is lacquer, it probably won't happen because it's hard as a freaking rock. And I can also wet sand it with like 1,000 grit or 1,500 grit sandpaper, wet sand it and then buff it again. But I'm not really that worried about it, to tell you the truth. I mean, just leave it the way it is. Not that big of a deal. I keep putting wax on it, eventually it might shine a little more, you know? Okay. All right, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, you can see the dullness right there. It's really weird that it's like that, but there ain't a lot I can do about it. Just keep working on it. But the rest of the door looks okay. Just that part right there. Right here and up around here, around that door handle for some reason. Maybe this car was sitting in a spot where the sun was shining on this door part of the day, and it caused it to have some extra oxidation on it. I don't know. All right, now I'm going to do the bottom part of the door. And it's not nearly as bad, of course, because it's lower down. It's not in the sun. I'm going to go ahead and do the whole thing. All right. Okay, that was pretty easy to do. One coat there, and that's done. Wow, I'm definitely sweating. All right, and I'm inside out of the heat of the sun. Of course, it's hot in here. It's probably at least 80 degrees in here. I don't know. It's definitely not cool. If I turned on my AC, it'd be a lot better, but I'm not going to do that. Trying to make myself sweat a little bit. It's good for me. All right. Let's do the back half of the door. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot better than the front half was, unfortunately. And it could be just that when they painted this car, this part of the door just didn't take the paint as well as the rest of the car did, and it may have been sprayed a little dry. You know, when they sprayed the paint, it may have been a little bit dry, so it caused kind of a dull finish to it, and they probably didn't care because it was a race car. They thought, well, it's good enough, just leave it alone. I don't know. It's just this door, the paint on it's so much different than the rest of the car, and I'm not sure why. The rest of the sides of the car, I should say, not this door looks a lot like the hood in the trunk did. And I'm probably going to get basically about the same amount of shine out of it that I did them. For whatever reason. Okay. Oh. I guess I'll go ahead and run some more along the top of this door since I did the front half. I might as well do the back half. right? There we go. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's do another coat. Do 2 coats on the back half, of course, like we did the front half. And like I said, I don't know that it's going to make a ton of difference, but we'll try it and see. It's not going to hurt anything, that's for sure. Hopefully I'll make it a little better. I'm really putting quite a bit of pressure on this rag to try to push this stuff down into the paint and get that oxidation out of there as best I can, obviously. Rub it on the door handle too, kind of wax it up. Just really get it soaking in there and absorbing into that paint. Try to get those nutrients in there to bring that shine back out, right? Okay, let's do the top half of here again. One more time. It ain't gonna hurt anything to do that. Okay. Whew. All right. You guys don't think this is labor intensive? You better think again. Fortunately, I have a building I can do it inside over. I'm out of the sun. I could do it outside in the shade, but I'm pretty sure it's 10 degrees hotter outside in the shade than it is in here. So the shop's pretty comfortable. Even without the AC on, it's pretty comfortable. Concrete floors really hold the coolness in at night. It absorbs into the concrete. It takes a little while for it to come out during the day. So yeah, we still got the same area right there where I've got dual paint. So it's definitely going to take more than what I've used on it to get it shine up. Maybe I'll do another video and I'll try to get this part of the door done with the rubbing compound and then follow it up with polishing compound and see if I can get more shine out of this door. I don't know if I can or not. I'm not going to do it today. Too much work to do it today. Okay. All right. All right, that's about as good as it's going to get. My gosh, I'm sweating. I mean, it's hard for you guys to see it, but I don't know. There you can kind of see it. You can kind of see the hazing right there. I mean, it definitely doesn't look bad, especially compared to what this car looked like when I first got it. When I first got it, it was pretty rough paint-wise. All right, now let's do this back fender. You can see in that upper scoop, there's a little bit of cloudiness going back in the above the door, above the tire. There's a little bit of cloudiness. So let's. I'm gonna do the top of the fender first, and then we'll do the side and see what it looks like. We're almost done. Again, up here was rust. I sprayed some clear coat rust killer up here, so I've got that black kind of oxidation finish that it happens when you spray that rust coat on there. But I didn't want the rust to continue to get worse, so I just sprayed that on there to seal it and kill it. And when you buff it, it gives it a nice shine anyhow, because it goes on kind of like a spray paint. So it's not a big deal. There we go. Shine that up a little bit. Make it look nice. This didn't have the dull finish on it that the door did, so hopefully one coat will be all I need on it. I'm just trying to really get it to soak in there good, so it looks nice. Get a good shine out of it the first time, I hope. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. That's looking pretty good. There's some dull spots in it, but you know, I'm not surprised at all. Whew. All right. You guys that know me, my friends and stuff, you know I used to work in the automotive manufacturing industry. And it never ceases to amaze me when you look at this. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If you look at this rear fender on this Coronet, and you can see it's got a good shine to it. When you look at this rear fender on this car, it's got the scoop here, it's got a body line there, a body line here, and then actually the body actually curves in and then comes back up, and then you got another almost 90-degree bend right here. And to have the technology in 1967 to make these bends and make them look this good is just, it amazes me. It amazes me they had the technology to do that back in the day. But man, these are nice, crisp, tight bends, perfect. It's just, I'm just really astounded they were able to do that. But you look at that and you think about 1967 was what? Almost 60 years ago, right? Let's see, 40, yeah. No, actually it was 60, see, 77, 87, 97, 07, 17, yeah. Yeah, almost 50 years ago, 47 years ago. No, that's not right. Yeah, it is right. Yeah, 47 years ago, they had the technology to make bends like this. That's just, it amazes me. I'm just shocked by it. And I used to work in the industry. I used to work for companies that, you know, had presses. I used to run presses that would bend this metal. But that was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. But to have this technology in 1967 is just amazing. Now, look here, right here. See the difference between that right there and the fender? See the difference? You can tell there's a little bit of dullness in that. So I'm going to have to come back to this door and try to use something different on it to see if I can get more shine out. I don't know if I can or not. I may just have to leave it that way. But I mean, this car, as far as I'm concerned, looks 1,000 times better than it did when I started this process several days ago. Like I said, it's very labor intensive. All right, let's do the sides of this fender here, see what it looks like. Do the top half here first. See if we can get some shine out of it. I mean, I haven't even waxed this yet, and it looks better than that door. So imagine what it's going to look like after I put this on here. It's going to look phenomenal, I'm sure. Considering its age. I mean, it's not, you know, obviously a showroom paint job. But doing what I've done the last couple days with this paint job on this car, I'm just really, really happy that it's turned out the way it has, considering what appears to me is the history of it being neglected for so long. It just goes to show that even if you have a car that's been sitting in the elements for a long time, as long as it's got decent paint on it, you can, with a lot of elbow grease and a lot of sweat, you can bring the paint back, you know, to a decent shine. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's not going to look like it did when it was newly painted, but considering what I've got to work with here, I think it's pretty good. I'm only going to do one coat here. I think all I got to do is one coat of wax. Let's buff that off and see what we got. Oh yeah, we're getting a nice shine. Yeah, look at that. That's wow. The difference between that door and that fender is just, I mean, it's amazing. It's unbelievable. I'll try to get you in here and show it to you. Wow. That's very surprising that it looks that good. All right. Okay. Okay, guys, can you see the difference from that angle? Not really. Let's look at it from over here. Let me zoom you guys in here, see if you can see that. Just trying to get an angle where you can see it. Oh, you can kind of see it there. I mean, you can see the difference. This is like a richer, brighter red, and that's kind of a dull red. It's like I wonder if at some point somebody, maybe they did some damage to this door, like scraped it or something, and they repainted just that top half of that door, because that's the only thing that looks that way, is that top half of that door. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it kind of looks that way to me. But you can see, look at the shine on that fender. That's just amazing. All right, I still got to do the bottom half down there, and then I got to do the back part of the fender. I am tired. It's ready to go in the house and take a shower before I go to the gym and work out and sweat some more. All right, let's wipe this on here. Get this soaking in. I always do the bottom. When you're waxing a car like this, make sure you do the bottom of the rocker panels. People always forget that. Do the bottom of the rocker panels because that's where your dirt and crap builds up. Do the insides of the fender well like that. See that? Do that. You always want to make sure you get all those parts. Don't just get what you can see, get what you can't see as well. That way you're protecting the paint. Okay. I don't think it's going to take a lot to make that shine down there because, again, it's low to the ground, didn't get a lot of sunlight. The bottom half of this car looks, other than the rust on the other side, looks really good. But you also got to consider, guys, this car came from New York. I mean, you saw me go get it. I went to Buffalo, New York, where it snows feet at a time. There's ice all over, ice. Well, there is ice all over the roads, but there's salt all over the roads. Plus Buffalo, New York. Actually, I take that back. I got this car in Rochester. But Rochester, New York is right on one of the Great Lakes. I don't know which one it is. You guys can tell me. Lake Erie, I guess. I don't know. It's right on one of the Great Lakes. So they always have probably a lot of moisture coming off the lake into the town. You know, cars get lots of condensation on them. So the fact that this car came from there and it's got this kind of paint job on it, these many years later, says a lot. And it's possible that this car did not sit outside in the weather, because maybe it'd be worse if it had. But It definitely didn't sit protected. And the paint on the hood and the trunk is a testament of that, that's for sure. But anyhow, I've seen worse, I've seen better. All right. Okay. All right, we're almost there. Almost there. One more little section after this. This fender is so big I gotta do it. It's 3 sections instead of 2. It's huge. My gosh. This fender's like 8 feet long. Definitely a big car. Okay. All right. That's about as good as that's going to get. I got one spot right here that's kind of dull. I don't know what happened there, but something might have got spilled on the car or something. I don't know. All right, last section. The very back of the fender. Oh wait, I got to do the bottom too. Sorry, I got 2 more sections left to do. Let's get this one first. All the way to the back bumper. Got to go around these. I already did some of that, but got to go in between these letters. It's kind of a pain to do. Get down in here where the body meets the bumper, get that section down. And actually what I think I'm going to do, since this rag is absolutely and completely saturated with wax, once I'm done rubbing this in really good, rub that dull spot one more time. I don't think it's going to help, but I'll rub it and see what happens. Once I get this rubbed in really good, and I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to hit this with the rag without putting any wax on it because it's got a ton of wax on it already. So we'll just go ahead and do both these sections. Come on. This rag is absolutely soaked with wax. Absolutely soaked. Okay. All right. That ought to be good. I'll do this one more time real quick. It's hard to get around those letters, that's for sure. Okay. Oh, that's sweat running off me. All right, let's polish this out and see what we got. See what the end result is of all this labor-intensive work try to get the shine to come back into this paint job. One thing I'm glad about this car, it's got all the letters on it. They aren't in great condition. And I think you can buy them new, but they're like insanely expensive. So, and this car to me is a patina car. And those are original letters, factory original letters, so I'm not going to worry about it. I think they look fine on there. I think they look just fine. Just trying to get all that wax around these letters, get it cleaned up so it looks as good as it can look. Wow. Like I said, I'm glad I did the other half of this car last night, because it would be a really long video. You guys wouldn't even want to watch it all. And I would be completely exhausted by the time I got done doing it. So I'm pretty tired now from doing this half. Okay. Holy smokes. All right, guys, let's take a look at this thing and see what you guys think. Probably one of the most labor-intensive jobs you'll ever do on a car is waxing it. But this one here, of course, is way more because it was a lot worse. So I've got probably a quarter of this bottle left. I use about 3/4 of it on this car. But the trunk and the hood, I did, I think, 4 coats on each one of those. The passenger door, I did 2 coats on it. So, all right, I'm gonna take you off the stand. Let's take a look at this car. You guys tell me what you think. This has been a long video. Hopefully you guys have stuck with me through all this. But I think the end result speaks for itself. I mean, obviously, sorry about that. Obviously, again, this is not a showroom paint job. It's not, you know, I'm not gonna win any trophies or prizes with it. But you guys remember what that trunk looked like, right? When I started, there was zero, absolutely zero shine to it. It was dull. I thought there's no way I'm ever going to get anything out of it. And you can see the light shining off of it. And I still got those, I don't know what they laid on this trunk lid to get those light spots. I hate that. I wish they hadn't done whatever they did. It just really sucks. But here's the driver's side that I did last night, and I'm glad I did because I'm exhausted now. But again, you can see just how, I see this door here, the top of the door's got a little bit of cloudiness to it, which again is probably because, you know, the sun's shining down on the door, just like it did the trunk and the hood. So it's got a little bit of dullness to it, but the side of this car just looks amazing. I wish the whole car looked like this, because if it did, I would be extremely happy. But there you go. You can see, you can actually see the shine in it, how nice it looks. Looks really good. I got some other plans for this car, some things I'm going to get done to it to make it look better. But yeah, it looks great. And again, the hood was just like the trunk. It was as dull as it could be. I didn't think I'd ever get any shine out of it. You know, it's not like this high quality gloss paint job. But now, if I were to keep this car, I could fix the rust in it. I could fix the rust, and I could take it to a body shop. I have a new vinyl top put on it, or take the vinyl top off and just paint the top white. But I could take this car to the body shop, and I could have them clear coated after I fix the rust on the other side, and, you know, have them do a little bit of touch up to the paint and make it match the patina of the rest of the car and clear coat this car with a high gloss or a semi-gloss clear coat, and it would look beautiful for years. But actually, if you keep this car inside out of the weather and you wax it on a regular basis, it'll look beautiful for years just like this, so you don't have to do that. But you see how hard it is. I mean, I'm sweating, I'm covered with sweat. I'm exhausted. And I just did half the car. I did the hood and the passenger side, that's it. So, and of course I did all the buffing work with the machine before that. But you can see what the end result is. It looks great. I hope you guys like this. Subscribe to my video. I'm going to start making more videos on this car. I need to get on that Vega. I'm going to get that done pretty quick. I want to race that car this year, so I got to get on it. But I had something else going on in my life recently, but I'll talk about it at a later time. I've been kind of busy for about the last month or so. But I'm back out here. So tell me what you think, guys. You like this? You think you want to do that to your car? You better get ready to lose a few pounds, because it's going to make you do it. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I'll keep making these videos. All right, talk to you later. Bye.